I think next point is foreign exchange reserves, custodian of foreign. So RBI undertakes the task of preserving India's foreign exchange reserves. Foreign exchange reserves includes, yeah, tell me, any idea? Hard currencies, we have gold, we have SDR. We'll discuss this SDR, how it evolved, but we'll discuss the bifurcation of SDR when we'll discuss balance of payment module. Okay. So hard currencies, what are the hard currencies? What do you understand by hard currency and soft currency? So here hard currency includes US dollar, euro, yen, and Great Britain pound. These are the 4 hard currencies in the world. Now any question? Because it is a part of IMF basket doesn't mean its acceptance all over the world. You cannot trade. People are not having enough confidence in yuan because of frequent devaluation done by Chinese authority. Hard currency simply means international acceptance in settling the payments. So if you are trading with, suppose India is trading with Venezuela, you can trade in US dollar, you can trade in Great Britain pound, you can trade in yen, euro, etc. If it is agreed mutually that India and Venezuela can trade in rupee, like we had an example of India and Iran in 2013. So India paid around 45% of its crude oil payment in terms of rupees. Then government of India took loan from UCO Bank in Calcutta. So government of India paid 45% of the total crude oil bill to Iran in terms of rupee. Why? Because in 2013, due to Iranian sanctions by the Western countries, America said that you cannot settle your payment with Iran in terms of dollar, because dollar is the currency of United States. Then again India took control and took shelter of this currency, euro. But you know the European Union and United States. So euro said that you cannot pay 100% of your crude oil bill in euro. You can pay only 55%. So remaining 45%, इतना सारा रुपये कैसे जाएगा? So we are building some infrastructure in Iran, from Chabahar to everything. Getting a point? So 45% of remaining this payment India paid in terms of rupees. So we can trade in domestic currency, but the condition is it should be agreed on both the sides, mutual agreement. Otherwise, international acceptance of these 4 currency is inevitable. That's the hard currency. So hard currencies, it means our foreign exchange reserves includes hard currencies like these 4. We have other currencies like also, but in a small percentage. Now talking about gold. Gold is a bullion. So generally most of the time we are having only gold, but in comparison to all these 3, we have around 95% of our foreign exchange reserves in terms of hard currencies. Then around 3% this and 2% this. Gold is simple, no need to explain this. Another term is SDR, special drawing rights of IMF. So this is a currency actually we can say notional currency. You can write in bracket notional currency. Notional. This is the spelling. SDR is a notional currency. Now I'll tell you the background how SDR evolved in the international monetary era. So in the year around 1960s, we experienced international liquidity crunch. So what's the meaning of international liquidity crunch? Means in international market, we were experiencing shortage of funds, shortage of money. Due to Vietnam War, there was a shortage experienced in terms of US dollar. Vietnam War. Then apart from this, we have also experienced shortage of gold at that time. So big authorities like IMF and most of the Western capitalist countries thought that in few years, if this trend will continue, world trade will come to standstill. We need to think about some alternative. So remember that we were trading in 16th, 17th century in terms of gold. But after that, we experienced shortage in gold because obviously it takes time as well as it incurs around cost of mining that gold. So what happened? We experienced shortage in gold. That's why we invented paper currency. Although it invented in the 7th or 10th century. But the main flood of these hard currencies came after 17th and 18th century. What about gold? So again, we were experiencing shortage of both these hard currencies as well as gold in 1960s. Then IMF and other Western economies evolved the concept of SDR. SDR is special drawing rights. It means it depends on your voting share as well as your contribution towards IMF. You can withdraw that amount of money in case of any shortage or in case of any liquidity crunch. What does it mean, liquidity? Any idea? Currency. Means how you can convert your money into the actual form. If you are, suppose I'll give you example of liquidity, like you have cash in your pocket, then you have ATM card, then you have check. Among these three, which is the most liquid form of money? Cash, because you can use at any time. After that, ATM card, because at around 11 PM in night, you cannot use check, you can use ATM card. And third one is your check. So liquidity, it means how money can convert into a purposeful use. So we experienced international liquidity crunch and policymakers were thinking that we may experience a international liquidity crunch in near future. So we have to invent some alternative beyond these two. So India has around 2.42% share in this IMF, SDR, special drawing rights. So this SDR is available to only 188 countries. Those are the member of IMF. Getting my point? So SDR will write few lines in terms of this. So you write SDR. These are paper gold, also known as paper gold. I'll make you write these things. Paper gold. If you want to write, you can write here also. Actually, SDR is not a physical currency. It's a accounting currency. You cannot see like rupee note, dollar, that this is SDR. No. It is a counting currency. It will remain as a share of a particular country in IMF. So SDR is not a physical currency. We'll write these things. First you write foreign exchange reserves. RBI is the sole authority. RBI is the sole authority. RBI is the sole authority to preserve and manage all the foreign exchange reserves, of India. So it means no other bank can have this kind of foreign currency. No one individual is allowed to have foreign exchange reserves. Only RBI. ठीक है, तो जो डॉलर रख के घूमते हैं ना पॉकेट में, दैट इज ऑल्सो इलीगल. फिर क्या हो गया? नहीं, इलीगल है कि नहीं है? इफ यू आर कीपिंग maybe $10, $100 in your pocket and living in India, is it illegal? Why? Limit है उसकी. Like you can keep old 500 and 1000 rupees note, but limit is 10. तो टोकन सजा के रख सकते हो. इस ज़माने में ऐसे नोट चलते थे इस टाइप से. So you can keep 10 just for the token. But how these Western Union foreign exchange banks are working, because these are authorized dealer of central bank, because RBI single-handedly cannot manage this huge kind of inflow and outflow of foreign currency. That is why RBI is issuing license and authorizing all these small banks like Western Union to undertake the task of buying and selling of foreign exchange. Sure. So in bracket you write custodian of foreign exchange reserve. So whatever we have written, this is the definition of custodian of foreign exchange reserve. Next, India's foreign exchange reserves includes hard currencies like India's foreign exchange reserves includes hard currencies like US dollar. You write all these four: US dollar, Great Britain pound, euro, yen. As well as other currencies RBI can keep. With itself. So it doesn't mean we cannot have Pakistani rupee in our foreign exchange reserves. We can keep, but obviously in a limited amount because of the nature of that currency. Now understand the difference between hard currency and soft currency. So you write one word. Hard currencies are those currencies which have their international acceptance, in terms of settling financial transaction. So just opposite is the soft currency. So you write soft currencies like rupee, which does not have its international acceptance, in settling financial transactions. Why I'm putting more focus on foreign exchange? Because of the current aspects. So you may expect questions on hard currency, soft currency. We'll discuss what is sterilization. Okay, done? Now you write SDR. SDR is an intangible currency. In bracket you write limited to accounts only. SDR is an intangible currency which is available only to the member countries. which is available only to the member countries of IMF. Full stop. Right fast. The concept of SDR, started in 1960s. In the wake of international liquidity crunch. Witnessed by Western developed economies, and were threatened by the situation which will lead to standstill the world trade. Full stop. Special drawing rights is also known as paper gold. Special drawing rights is also known as paper gold. Write in quote unquote, single quote, paper gold. Okay. Next line. SDR is an important factor in easing out the temporary mismatch in balance of payment as well as any kind of shortage experienced by a member country. Take a full stop. That's it. Do you have any doubt in this point of custodian of foreign exchange reserves? Make it very clear, because conceptual clarity is the most important thing in economics. So if you are not clear with any term, you can ask any time. Again and again I am saying. Temporary mismatch means like India experienced in the year 1991. What happened at that time? IMF came to the rescue of India and gave certain kind of loans. So these kind of temporary mismatch. Like in 1957, we experienced another mismatch in our balance of payment, in the balance of payment front, due to heavy investment in the year 1956, in the second 5-year plan. We have already discussed all these points. Okay. Did we run this notional? Okay. Next point is controlling exchange rate. There are 3 types of exchange rate. We'll discuss in detail in the balance of payment module. But just for the sake of explanation, we have a flexible, we have fixed, and we have managed float. So India is following this managed float exchange rate. In flexible exchange rate, everything depends on, do not write anything, we'll discuss in BOP, but just understand. If I'm mentioning some kind of exchange rate, I should tell you that India is following this managed exchange rate, managed float exchange rate. In flexible exchange rate depends on totally on market. It means the central monetary authority cannot intervene in the currency market. If the currency goes on a trail of depreciation, then the central bank cannot take any charge, cannot take any action in order to control this exchange rate. In fixed exchange rate, the central authority have sole control, have most of the control in controlling this fixed exchange rate. Example, China. Here we can say example in United States of America, and managed float is India. So India is following that middle path. We'll discuss in detail, but for the time being, India is following managed float exchange rate. Now what does it mean? Suppose this is the graph of rupee per dollar. So what does it mean? It means, is rupee depreciating or appreciating by seeing this graph? Depreciating. Are you all with me? Anyone who is saying appreciation? No. Suppose this is 65 and this is 68 and this is 70. This is 72. It means rupee is depreciating. Suppose our comfort level for rupee is 65 to 70 rupees per dollar. It means this is our comfortable limit. Like the limit of inflation is 4% plus minus 2. So this is our limit of our comfort in dealing with the exchange rate. If our exchange rate is between these two figures, RBI will not take any action. Getting my point? If it appreciates below 65 or depreciates beyond 70, then RBI will take some action. Getting my? This bracket can be 5%, 10%. These are hypothetical figures. These are not actual figures, because RBI is not telling us that what is the comfort level for RBI. It depends on the economic situation of that time. For the current situation, RBI is comfortable in 70. Getting my point? So 70 comes in a comfort of RBI. So for example, 65 to 70. $65 to 70. So it means if the exchange rate floats between this, RBI will not take any action. But if it depreciates beyond the level of 70, then RBI will take actions. What kind of action we'll discuss later. So this is how RBI manages the exchange rate. Now suppose, for example, after this point, the comfort level of RBI has changed. RBI is saying that we are moving towards a new normal. So we are adding 2% rupees 2 above and rupees 2 above on this line. So it means from 67 to 72, this is our new comfortable position. So it means our exchange rate is floating, but RBI can manage that. That is managed float exchange rate. Again in future, you can go above this. This is our new normal. So RBI will be comfortable in 69 to 75. 74. Okay, now you get the idea. This is how he manages. But if you are following fixed exchange rate, you have to keep rupee at 68, means 68 per dollar. Do you remember the word overvalued rupee when I was dictating the topic of economic reforms? So before reforms, there's one important point in initiating the crisis was overvalued rupee set by RBI. So after 1991, we are having flexible exchange rate with little bit of management from Reserve Bank of India. So this is how RBI manages currency. This is the activity. Now, what are the tools in managing this type of, we can say, exchange rate fluctuation? Now, if exchange rate is going towards downside, it means rupee is depreciating. What are the steps we can take? What are the steps we can take? Any example? Like putting restrictions on the outflow of dollar. If rupee is depreciating, you will set a limit that you cannot take beyond $25,000 from India to US at a one time. So if a tourist is thinking about visiting some other countries and taking $30,000, he or she will not be allowed to take that $30,000. So there's a limit on outflow of dollar. You can make tougher norms to exit from Indian market. Obviously in financial market in the short run. You can apply some kind of taxes, some restrictions to control the outflow of foreign institutional investors. These are the few examples, but we'll discuss later in balance of payment, because at that time your level of understanding will go up regarding this exchange rate. Because monetary policy, fiscal policy and exchange rate, the most important topic in economy. When we are saying that for preliminary perspective, these three topics, very, very vital. The topic of interest rate, because UPSC frequently asking about fluctuation in the interest rate. What will be the impact of interest rate? When RBI raises the repo rate, what will be the impact on exchange rate? If rupee is depreciating, what's the impact on FDI? Like these points of correlation. Getting my point? So RBI uses these kind of policies to control exchange rate in the economy. Getting my point? Any doubt?